the Associate Director here at Niagara University. We're super excited that you're all joining us for our Niagara University College of Hospitality and Tourism Management virtual showcase tonight. One of the many things that colleges have learned since COVID is all of the virtual opportunities that are out there. I want to take this time to introduce a very passionate person that I've grown to really respect and enjoy spending time virtually with her. Our Dean of the College of Hospitality and Tourism Management, Bridget Nealand, is here with us tonight, and I will allow her to kind of kick off, introduce herself. She's got a really incredible background, and move on with the presentation.
Great, thank you. I see some familiar names and faces, so it's good to see you guys again. I want to first let you know how this hour will work because we want to be very appreciative of your time. I'm going to start out just with some general information. Some of you have heard this before, but there is a little bit of an update, kind of our approach to education here within the College of Hospitality and Tourism Management. And we'll go over some of the kind of the key facets of our program for the first half hour, see if you have any questions, probably take a little bit closer look at the curriculum. So that is something that I will kind of give a little deeper dive into those of you that are joining us after open house. At 6:30, we will be joined by Gigi Ortiz. Gigi is a student here at Niagara University. She is president of our Club Managers Association of America chapter. It's actually the #1 ranked chapter in the United States. They are poised to take their trip to their regional CMAA meeting down in Pittsburgh. She'll be sharing a little bit about her experiences generally at Niagara, as well as the many opportunities that she has taken advantage of through the CMAA. So this is a little bit new addition. So she'll be joining us at 6:30. I will actually be hopping off at 6:30, but this is for a good reason. I have to join the Board of Trustees here at Niagara University to talk about our college. And again, I think it's really the theme of tonight is going to be a little bit about the resources that our university places behind this college. And I think that that is kind of an example of that, just wanting to know our progress, wanting to know more about it and how they can support us. So my colleague, Mike Gentile, will be joining us just as the faculty member on for the second half hour of this call, just in case you have any questions for the faculty or anything that should arise from your conversation with Gigi. The last thing I want to say is that I do encourage you to continue to join us each month for these showcases. We will be rolling out a theme each month that kind of will allow you to get to know us a little bit better. And we're really excited. And those themes will range from an even deepened discussion of our Club Managers Association, as well as our Disney program, as well as our hotel and restaurant management association that our students run here, and the various things that are offered through all of these different clubs and work experiences. So we do encourage you to join. For the rest of the calls for the year, you will actually hear the new information first, and then we'll stay on the line to provide any of the basic information that the new people joining those calls might want to hear. So without much more, I'm just gonna kind of roll through some updates as well as some basic information on our program. We are going via Zoom, so if there's any time that you lose me in terms of my audio or the visual is not what you think it should be, please, please, please interrupt me, because as good as I've gotten at all of this stuff, sometimes I or technology fail. So here's where we are. Again, this particular showcase is focused on our College of Tourism, Hospitality, and Tourism Management, specific to our degrees in hotel restaurant management and tourism and event management. The first thing I want to talk about is really the new spin that and I shouldn't say spin, but the new approach to really explaining what this industry is. And I've had the benefit of talking to so many of our alumni, and our alumni are so passionate about what the education they received here, as well as helping our current students find jobs. And we know that sometimes you guys might be coming down to a decision of where do I study and what do I study and how do I study to prepare myself for hospitality. And a lot of out of those discussions, we've talked a lot about how really hospitality is evolved into what a lot of people within our industry explain as the experience economy. So it's a sector overall of our economy in which individuals purchase experiences. They may be purchasing these experiences largely as a part of their vacations or their free time or their leisure time. But it is unique as to other sectors of our economy because, in fact, really the high level of service it does require, because people are spending, this is where they purchase their fun. So we've been talking a lot internally with our students about how they really have chosen to explore and study a sector of economy which delivers fun to people. And that's a wonderful thing to be a part of, because we are trying to deliver these really great experiences to individuals that are purchasing them through their hard-earned dollars. And so we want to make sure that we are preparing our students to provide fun, to provide great experiences for people, whether those experiences are a fabulous meal, a wonderful event, a wedding, a celebration of some sorts, whether personal or professional, a trip. And as it comes down to sometimes people in our economy in the United States, sometimes that thing they're purchasing, that leisure time thing they're purchasing, is either to watch or participate in sport. The common thread through all of our three majors that you see listed on the screen are that fact that we are delivering experiences. We are part of what in 1998, two Harvard University professors coined as the experience economy. And it does require a little bit of specialized learning, and why you are seeing that there are separate schools or colleges or programs that are devoted to hospitality and tourism. What we're excited here at Niagara is we are a college of hospitality. Our university has a long storied history of being one of the first universities in the United States to even create a program on tourism and travel, and then build upon that to actually then expand it to include hotel, restaurant management, and sport management. Our university has placed an emphasis on keeping it at the college level, which brings both students and their faculty a high level of resources and dedication that you will not see at other institutions that have made it either part of a separate college of business or that. So as you start to evaluate where you want to study and who you want to study with, I will kind of emphasize that here at Niagara, this is considered one of our marquee programs, and feel very fortunate to get to be the dean of it and to get to receive the support of everyone from the Board of Trustees down to deliver a quality learning experience to all of you. What makes Niagara a little bit different? Some of you have seen this slide before, but it is mentorship. And I will use this opportunity to say, today, let's see how I spent my day. I spent my day talking to 3 former alums who are all club managers who want to touch base. They have job opportunities. They want to talk about the CMAA program and how it has 100% placement rate, that they're good jobs. They're well-paying jobs. They have a management track and a management development track, 2 of them. And I think what is great is they're reaching out because they want to be a part of developing their successors, developing their next employees who can then get the training to become club managers and deliver those type of experiences. As I think you'll hear a little bit from Gigi tonight, the club experience has evolved over time. You know, clubs at one point were very exclusive. Clubs aren't as much exclusive as they are anymore in terms of not exclusivity, but not trying to deliver exclusivity as much as they are trying to deliver different experiences. And so the group behind that want to serve as mentors to kind of show students how the club management and the hotel restaurant management and the tourism and event management world has changed over time. And they really want to be actively participating with current students. So we have a very active alumni. They serve as mentors, not only through the CMAA program, but they also serve as mentors through a program we have here called Alumni Advantage. Alumni Advantage includes over 100 alumni from all different backgrounds, from all the 3 programs that we have, hotel restaurant management, tourism and event management, and sport and recreation management. Once a year, they come into town. They're coming into town here, and we'd love to invite you as students to be guests that day on October 29th. And not only will our current students meet, but again, future students as well. And the day starts off with a nice kind of breakfast prepared by our restaurant, food and bev students. And then our students go into some panel discussions that our students have actually chosen. So we sent a survey out to our students saying, what do you want to hear from alumni? And they came back, and then the alumni worked with us to build out that schedule. So they'll meet with alumni and everything from, what were their experiences during COVID as leaders in the industry? How do they think the industry is going to bounce back? What are the key skills for breaking into the industry? We have an entire session devoted to not so much networking, because that is such an often used term. It's really just building relationships. So much of the experience economy is about building relationships, and it can be one of the most intimidating parts for young students or new students that just enter the workforce to really feel comfortable doing, and COVID hasn't helped that much either. So we'll be having a dedicated how-to kind of best way to build relationships with mentors and with individuals they might meet to help them network. So that day kind of goes from 8:15 all the way till 12:45, and it ends with another fun lunch that is being prepared again by our restaurant management, most notably our kids that are in the food and bev and culinary part of our program. In addition to alumni mentors, we also have a very accomplished faculty that continues to grow and provides a nice balance for both those that are scholars in the topics of hotel and restaurant management and tourism and event management, as well as balance with those who have experience in the industry. So to me, one of the things that I think is critical when you're working in the experience economy is you're balancing those 2 things. You need folks that have studied this industry really well, that can identify upcoming trends, that can kind of be ahead of the curve. Those tends to be our scholars and our PhD, but we have to balance that out a little bit with those that have industry experience that can really provide the kind of practical approach to it. And Niagara invests in both, and we're very proud of that. And again, that is one thing I would put on your checklist when you're looking at other schools, is how balanced is the faculty? There should be a healthy balance between those 2 groups, between the scholars and the PhDs, qualified folks who've done a lot of writing on it, as well as those folks that are actually out there using that information and experiencing kind of everything on the front lines, so to speak. That ties in nicely to a lot of our industry-based professors then become part of our both alumni network and our faculty network, and that leads to more experiential learning opportunities. The one update I have on this is, you've probably heard if you've been following us, Niagara has always required 800 industry hours for our students. We know the challenge that has created during COVID, and we want to be prepared as we come out of those, that we may need to provide a little bit more guidance to our students to find those opportunities and to secure them and to get the most out of them. So our experiential learning program is actually being expanded to include coursework that the students will engage with a faculty mentor. And it'll start right after their 2nd semester of their freshman year. They'll go into 3 semesters of a 1-credit practicum class, in which there will be a faculty instructor that will place the students and then work with the students as they kind of start accomplishing they'll start with 50 hours each in those classes, and when that sequence is done, they'll have 150 hours. What they'll also have when those sequences are done is kind of a portfolio of work that they can reflect on to figure out where exactly next do they want to go in hospitality, because there is a lot of different opportunities to use that degree. Do they want to kind of follow the CMAA track, which is going into club management? Do they want to kind of stay focused on hotel management? I mean, again, another lovely thing about our industry, this sector of the industry, is that not only does the club management have a kind of a management training track that students can follow and that lead them to secure job leads, if not a placement, the hotel industry has that as well. And we want to prepare our students to be as competitive as they can possibly be to get into one of those hotel management training programs, whether it be Marriott's or Hilton's or some of the boutique hotels. So those, hopefully that practicum experience will allow that student to kind of figure out where they want to dive deep in for their junior and senior years. In addition to kind of that formal education, through the club experience, and I should say student club experiences, and you've heard about this before, we offer several trips. So even during this semester, which has been very challenging, our sport management students will be going to Cleveland and touring facilities, and this is open to both hospitality and tourism too, because there is so much of that overlap between the two industries. We'll also, our hotel students will be taking a trip in the spring to tour. We haven't finalized which sites. We're kind of trying to see if we're going to be going to Orlando, Atlanta, or up to Boston. We want to try to find the probably safest place to go as we close out, hopefully, this pandemic. But there'll be opportunities to kind of learn and go work events through there. Again, you can also join any of the sport management programs events, and I think that's really helpful because there is such an overlap between the two groups. We have a number of young men who are sport management hospitality majors, and then hospitality with a little bit of sport management. But because the two industries are tied, you don't have big sporting events without hospitality tied in. It's a really good experience to get resumes regardless of which track you're on. So this year we are on schedule to be working spring training events. We'll be going to Golf Week, and we will be working the NCAA first round games here in Buffalo, as well as some opportunities with the Daytona 500. So those will all be opportunities. And what we intend to offer the hospitality students from those is an opportunity to kind of, again, place them in a part of those events that is more focused on the hospitality event management side, and maybe not necessarily something that is lined up to the sport specifically. Is there any questions on that? Because I don't want to confuse people. I just want to kind of maximize how we're trying to offer different opportunities. Okay. We also have, and this is the fabulous, is really our international opportunities for the hospitality students. It is something unique. We don't offer quite as many international opportunities on the sport management side, but we do offer just some really nice opportunities. And I am really excited to state that all of these programs intend to be coming back after COVID. So Lake Como, our Lake Como program that was paused during COVID, we have started our initial discussions to get that up and running. It looks like with a summer 2023 start, which would help you guys start prepare for that. Our Peru program will be back, as well as our dual degree programs in Germany, and then just the programs that are offered through our international programs office will be on there. Allison, do you have any more to do on that? I know you do a lot with international programs. Any more you want to offer on that?
I mean, I think just depending on the program and where you are, if you want to do a short term or long term, I mean, I think it's just everything's kind of sadly up in the air right at the moment. I don't have really anything to add, I guess. But definitely, the opportunity to study abroad is an incredible one, and going through the specific college to have that opportunity is incredible. But I don't have any other ones to add.
Thank you. And one thing I do want to share on that is, because it has been case by case, and again, with this freshman class coming in, you might have a better situation than what some of our students are dealing with right now. But I do want to give an example of a student who came in our office a couple of weeks ago. She was scheduled in summer of 2020 to go to Lake Como. And clearly, obviously, that didn't happen. And she's a senior now. And, she really wanted that experience And, obviously things beyond our control prevented us from providing that. But what was wonderful about our international programs office is we sat down with them and we looked to see what programs were going on and how she could incorporate that. And so I'm really pleased to say that this is kind of the Niagara experience, is that she will now be traveling to Italy during the month of January, spending some time a little bit, obviously it's off season in Lake Como, but some of the other tourist destinations, and getting a little bit of that experience. And I think it kind of says that we don't know what's going to happen totally. We're hoping for a reboot in 2023, but I think what is nice to know is that we understand at Niagara the importance of that international experience. And for any student who wants it, we will work with you. The other thing you've heard, and it's wonderful again, we have money that the Statler Foundation has provided to us to offset the costs of all of these different experiential learning opportunities. So they do become affordable. And as a parent myself, I look at that because I don't want to say on the line, oh, look at all of this, and then make it financially outside of students' reach. And I know that college is already an investment, but we are really lucky. And it is, again, a sign of the resources that this college has invested and how that is recognized by foundations, that we have that availability. I mentioned it before, and you'll hear just in a few minutes again, the strength of our student clubs. So our student clubs, again, a wonderful resource that's provided. I've worked with and at a number of institutions in Niagara, places a fair amount of dollars behind their student experience. And again, I'll give you an example. This weekend, we do have 7 students that are going down to Pittsburgh to the Regional Club Managers of America Association Conference. Those students really will have their trip covered. Their hotel rooms will be covered through the student club budget. We will be covering their registrations here at College of Hospitality and Tourism Management, and they'll be reimbursed for their travel expenses that they have. I will be traveling down there with them for part of the trip, and then we've also put a faculty chaperone. Our assistant to the dean will be traveling with them for the second part of it. And that is that's how all of our Niagara works with their student clubs. So they really do, again, make sure that it is financially affordable for these student clubs to travel. I've been very pleased to see how much support and resources the student clubs receive from the university so that they can kind of make their dreams come true in terms of where they want to travel and the experiences they want to have. We also do have a National Honor Society that is specific to the College of Hospitality and Tourism and those studies, and we participate in that as well. I'm going to pause for any questions so far before I close with kind of a review of curriculum, and we'll be welcoming our next set of speakers in just a minute. So, okay, not hearing any questions. I'm going to go ahead and hopefully pull up.
I did put a fair amount of information in the chat about study abroad. There's a direct link to the study abroad site on our webpage, the scholarships that are there. So feel free to check those out. There's a lot of really great information on that page.
Thank you, Allison. Okay, Allison and I were joking before this that I had way too many windows open, and I still do. But I just want to point out a couple different things before. So this is our website. You've been on there. We do have the curriculum flow chart here, and that's actually where I'm going to go to review things. It may take me a second to pivot over to that for a second. Let me see if it still follows me. Did it? All right. That's a good Zoom day. Okay. So this is our curriculum flow chart. It's we're in the process of updating it a little bit, but it is still very relevant. And I just want to point out a few things. You can see here that when we talk about, why just hospitality or why pursue an education really to prepare you for the experience economy, why wouldn't you pivot maybe to a school of business or somewhere else? First of all, that's a decision you have to make. And I always want to be respectful of students and parents making that decision on their own. The one thing I can share, though, is this college has been around for near over 50 years and almost 55. And there's been a lot of thought and the constant kind of adjustment to make sure that what the student is learning is going to be very relevant to what they need to thrive in the industry. So you'll see here that all of our students get those core business classes that you would get out of any kind of study of an industry. And it's the intro to the industry in general. It's the management and leadership that you receive. You have 2 accounting classes. You have a law class that's specific to the industry, which I think is really important. I can speak to this from being a business law professor and a law professor. You know, learning it through the lens, learning it specific to the industry is really important because the law does not treat all industries the same. And so it's important if you're going to be working in hotel, restaurant management, or tourism event management, that you spend some time specific to that particular industry, because the standards can often be different and the acceptable practices can often be different. We then do human resource management. I think that's critical to any program. And again, I encourage you to be looking closely at your curriculums. And then we have a senior seminar. A senior seminar is going to really be that final preparation moment. We bring in a lot of fine tuning, everything from etiquette all the way down through research and fine tuning your research skills. The next on this slide that you'll see is the classes that are specific to your particular major. So I will tell you, we have a slight adjustment. Obviously, this is, hospitality, including your hotel, your food and beverage, planning and development, luxury, hospitality operations. You kind of get that fine tuning that is specific to your sector. When I said we are updating it, you notice we refer to this as tourism and event management. This still had a recreation component to it. We've kind of updated that to really reflect more of event management. But again, you'll see the course sequence within here being very specific to the portion of the industry that the student has decided to focus in on. Those core kind of give you the necessary tools to really work in any 3 of these areas. And then we start to fine tune that more specifically to the student. And once when we get through over here, you have your focus choices that kind of flesh out from that. And you can see under that hospitality major, we have entrepreneurship, we have food and beverage, operations, property development, which is becoming this one is very relative to Niagara Falls, which is really engaging in a lot of property development that's going to create a lot of opportunities for our students to stay here in Niagara Falls and have some robust job choices. There's a lot of American Recovery Act money coming into Niagara Falls through the tourism line, in addition to the state money that was already planned prior to the pandemic. And then finally, and very well timed, we have our club management portion of the curriculum. And I see on the line here, Gigi, it's good to see you today, Gigi, again. And Gigi's going to share just in a minute kind of her lead up to Niagara, a little bit about herself, and then move into kind of what her experience has been and the role of club management. But for close out my portion of the discussion, you can see, and again, this is available online to you, the kind of course concentrations you would have. Before I kind of pass it over to Gigi, in addition to the strength of the club management part of our hospitality major, we also see a lot of emphasis in, I think our largest group of students, freshman year students coming in the door this year was actually in the luxury club, resort, and spa management part of the industry. And so again, I think as you can see, we try to keep our curriculum up to date to kind of reflect how the experience economy is changing and the new things that come into it. You'll see also under here with tourism, we have a lot of that we're trying to build upon our placement right next to one of the top tourism destinations in our country. And I do want to add here is, in addition to this curriculum, Niagara University has invested in the Niagara Global Tourism Institute, NGTI, and TREC. And those are, it's housed right across the street from the Seneca Niagara Casino, and it is co-working space and entrepreneurship development space within Niagara. that is supported both by the Niagara Falls community as well as Niagara University. So I'm going to stop my share at this point. I'm going to pass it over to my good friend, Mike Gentile, who also hopped on the line. Mike is the Associate Dean of the college, as the Dean kind of hops off here. And then with the rest of the program for the next night is really just listening to Gigi and her wonderful experiences that she's had to date and all that. Before I go, are there any questions for me?
Is the hospital guest for the day that morning of the 29th, is that for existing students or for prospective students?
We would welcome having prospective students join in if they would like to join that for us the morning, Mr. Canava. We would think that it'd be great. So really just follow up with Allison, who'll work with me, and we'll schedule that shadow day. But they can join us from breakfast and then kind of hear from the alumni panels. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, you guys. I apologize. You do have to go again. Good reasons. Hope to bring more resources back to the college. Everyone take care. Thank you, Gigi.
Thank you, Gigi, for joining us, and Mike. Gigi, I will let you kind of kick off and introduce yourself and just talk through, you know, who you are, your life at Niagara, your experiences, all of those good things.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Gigi. I am a senior. I'm actually a dual degree student within business finance and hospitality and tourism. My concentration is in under the tourism side with the event meeting management. So I know that you guys saw that breakdown. So that's where I fall under. With that being said, I've had amazing opportunities to take classes that fall under the sports management side, that fall under luxury hotel, club management as well. So here at Niagara, there really is no limits to what you can take, and they do push advised electives. So there's room in my schedule to take things that don't only particularly focus on tourism and event meeting management. But I am the president of our Club Management Associations of America Club. So that is a student chapter that focuses on specifically like country club, city club, yacht club, golf club management. And that is an extracurricular club through the university. And through there, we've had some amazing experiences, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later. I also am on our student government association, and I'm also on our commuter advocacy board. So with Niagara, our hospitality program is amazing, but the amount of leadership things that you can take on and clubs that you can join that don't only pertain to hospitality are also quite endless. And so I would just like, my life here at Niagara has been so encompassing of everything that I've needed to set me up for success. I like to tell people that Niagara helped me figure out what I want to do when I walk the stage after graduation. And not only help me figure out what I want to do, but the steps that I need to take to get there. And I think that's really important, especially as a senior in high school or incoming freshman, is that I think that's what everybody goes to college and hopes of figuring out. You might have an idea, but that idea can change. And Niagara really offers an ample amount of opportunities to help you figure out what your next steps are and how they can get you there. And everyone from the dean, I know Professor Gentile is on here, from the professors, the staff, the faculty, all want to help you get to where you'd like to go. So that's really amazing. Just the supportive community that Niagara has is what's helped me grow as a leader, helped me get to a point where I could talk to incoming students on a Zoom call. The classes and coursework here, they do really help prepare you for what you're going to actually apply to your job that you have. So I know that's sometimes a frustration when you're sometimes in high school, you're learning things and you're like, I will just absolutely never use like geometry again in my entire life. That is not something you say here at the classes at Niagara. The classes that you do get here, we're learning about marketing, which is so prevalent in today's day and age. You're learning, I know that you mentioned about accounting. You are actually going to walk into your first job knowing what a profit and loss statement is and how to use that, because you're going to get that through Niagara. You're learning about HR management and how to be a good manager in respect to all of the laws and things that you need to follow. You're learning about food and beverage cost control and how you would apply that to whatever type of restaurant that you're working in. And so all of these opportunities can set you up to go anywhere in the hospitality industry. So I think that's what's really great about our hospitality program also, is that I'm not just learning things that will make me successful within events. I'm learning things that will make me successful if I decided to work in a hotel, work in a restaurant, work in a sports arena. So I have these versatile facts and information and skills that I can take anywhere. Through Niagara Hospitality, they also require 800 industry hours, and 800 industry hours sounds a lot. I do understand that, but within hospitality, that is extremely manageable. They start talking to you about that the minute you step on campus, so that it's not, hi, it's senior year, good luck finding 800 hours. There are so many internship opportunities that you have that the college will help set up. So those industry hours is also what sets us apart. So when I graduate, I have a full resume. And when I am sitting down to jobs, when they expect that work experience, which is very hard to achieve when you're 21 years old, Niagara helps you get that work experience so that my resume is full and that I am able to know what I like and what I don't like. Is also a great thing about these industry hours, is that I've worked in catering, I've worked in a hotel, I've worked at a country club. So I now know the aspects of hospitality that I like and don't like. I know that I really like the food and beverage side of things, and I don't necessarily love the hotel operations side. And I think that's just as important, is finding out what you don't like. So then you can grow from that and be like, okay, I know this is not for me, and that's okay. What is for me now? So the work experiences here on campus are amazing. The catering company that we work with, it's Met's Culinary Management, our food service company. They offer catering right here on campus that you can get involved with as a student. There's also, being in Niagara Falls, there's probably 10 to 12 hotels in maybe about 5 to 10 minute driving distance that are itching to hire Niagara students. I work at a hotel currently, and every single one of our front desk workers works at Niagara or goes to school at Niagara University. The whole management team is from Niagara University, the AGM, the GM. So they are dying to hire Niagara students. So getting those 800 industry hours is not going to be difficult by any means. And it's also going to really advance you. But I really found through Niagara that I wanted to do country clubs. When I walked into Niagara, I was like, I'm going to be a wedding event planner. Like, I just want to plan weddings. And like, while I still do love that, I have truly found a passion within club management. I like that within club management, you get all sides of the hospitality industry. So you have events, you have restaurants, and a lot of clubs even have room division. So they have like hotel rooms. So through clubs, I have found my experience that I like that whole encompassing of everything within the club. I also found with clubs that with private club industry, you have members who tend to come back, whether that's once a week, every day, once a month. So you get to formulate those amazing connections with the people you're serving, which makes those hours that you work, to me, feel worth it. I know that with hospitality, there are some weekends that you're going to have to work, maybe a holiday here and there and some nights, but to me, working at a club feels worth it because I'm working with these families. I'm seeing the smiles on their faces. I'm seeing these people who have gotten to know me and who I've gotten to know. Also, through club management, I through the CMAA, which is kind of short for the Club Management Association of America, the club isn't just a Niagara club. It's a broader organization. So it's not just a collegiate level club. It's not just something that's at Niagara University. We're technically called a student chapter, and there are student chapters at colleges all over the United States, from Florida to Massachusetts, from California. So there's not just one of us. So we get to network with students who are now entering that field. So we've already started with the network. We also then get to network with club managers. So it's a national organization that general managers, food and beverage managers, chefs, all kinds of people who work at a country club, they are involved on this larger scale called CMAA. So through that, I've gone to New York City, Chicago, Nashville, Texas, Ohio. This February, I'll actually be going to San Diego with this club to go to a conference where I have gotten to learn so much. I've learned how to be a better student leader, how to be a manager one day, to figure out my leadership style. And I've learned what's relevant in the club industry the same way that these managers are learning it. So at these conferences, I'm not only learning what managers are learning, I'm getting a chance to network with these managers. So I have managers that I could text on my phone today and be like, hey, I'm looking for a job, and they're ready to help me out. And that's from CMAA. All of our seniors have all of our spring seniors have graduated and walked the stage with a job already lined up. So that's extremely like satisfying for me to hear, because I know that like I will be set. And then through CMAA, I've also done internships. I've gotten to live in Rochester, Cleveland, and in Charlottesville, Virginia. And these clubs pay me to work there, and they also pay for a portion of my housing, if not free housing. We've had students go to San Francisco. We have students who go to New York City and who are living literally right across the street from Central Park for free and being paid. So through CMAA, they are these amazing opportunities to have these internships to they're rotational as well. So I was able to be in the events department. I was able to be in the kitchen for a weekend and seeing how the chefs cook, and you gain that respect for the chefs. I was able to see what the accounting director does, what the hiring manager does, what the HR person does. So I was seeing my classes and applying them to the real world setting. I also was able to work my way up and gain supervisory level. So that's that work experience that you had, that I now have supervisory level. So I have a summer worth of managing experience where I was managing a poolside grill. So I was managing the front of house, which was all of our servers and our cash register workers, and I was managing the chefs as well. So I had that opportunity to manage individuals, and I can now put that on my resume. So through CMAA, I've gained so many more experiences, and that wouldn't have been possible without the hospitality program here. And so then I just have a couple tips for all of you while looking for colleges. I know that it can sometimes be a nerve-wracking experience, but I think definitely just like take a deep breath and like go with what feels right. The thing about Niagara is that there's just this feeling that a lot of us all have, is that when we are on campus, we feel that community, we feel that connection. There's that like purple pride that we call it. And so here at Niagara, there's that feeling of community that I wasn't able to find anywhere else. And so to me, that was important, because this is your home for the next 4 years. This is where you go to class, where you live, where you meet your friends, where you meet your networking. So make sure it feels right, and make sure that you're going to be prepared for the future. So here at Niagara, hearing all these things that I'm telling you is what I was told when I was a senior. And so these things, I was like, wow, like that's making sense. Like I am going to college to get a job. Like I will need to pay things when I graduate. And so you want to make sure that wherever you go, that they are setting you up for the future and not just focusing on your 4 years here in college. So those would be my advice to all of you.
You got lots of great experience and awesome advice.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. Does anybody have any questions for Gigi? Okay. So we do have a bunch of open houses coming up. We have an open house coming up in October. We have one in November and December. We do offer visits every day, 3 times a day. Niagara Nights are something that are coming up that are really popular that students love to be a part of. You can certainly sign up for all of those things right online. And if you do want to shadow a student in the College of Hospitality and Tourism Management and see a class, sit in on a class, I put my email in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me or your admissions counselor directly, and we can make that happen for you. I know that Mike is having trouble with his audio, so he can't say anything else. Gigi, is there anything else that you think that I should add just about your overall experience or anything?
I think something that I feel is really important is that my experience isn't unique to me. There are so many other students who have similar experiences, and whether that be in the club management field or in hotels, planning events, working in sports. I don't know if Bridget had the opportunity to highlight the power of Niagara, the baseball team.
She didn't get into all that, no.
So I can highlight that a little bit, is that Niagara, through the sports management school, they have their own baseball team. And so through that opportunity, you can apply to be on the Power of Niagara, and you're essentially running a stadium and running a baseball season. And so you're gaining that experience on how to do ticket sales, how to run the food and concessions, the marketing. What do you need to set up for a game? So I think that's also a great experience that Niagara has to offer, is that it's not just unique to me. Like, I'm not just this one student who did all these great things. It's that there are several students who have done so many of these things as well. So I think that's what I really like to highlight, is that we've got so many students who have done these things, and also the alumni that the hospitality program alone has. I know Niagara has a great group of alumni, but the hospitality alumni is just a different breed of individuals who want to see Niagara students succeed. I've had so many alumni reach out to me and they say, when you're ready for a job, let us know. And it's just because I went to Niagara. I know that they know the education that we get, and so they want to hire Niagara students so bad. Every club that I've talked to, if they're a Niagara grad, they're like, who are you sending me? When can I get a Niagara student? And the hotels are just the same, and the same as sports. So I think that's something that's extremely unique, is how engaged that the alumni is within our hospitality program. And I know I'm also a student of the business program, and the alumni are great for all of Niagara, but you just really see that difference with our hospitality alumni, who really care about the future students coming into the industry.
Awesome. Any questions from anybody? That was a lot of information in 45 minutes.
Yes, thank you. We went to the open house over the summer, and where Bridget gave a nice, and if I think, is it Mike Mike was there as well, I believe, gave us a nice overview of the program. These open houses that are coming up, will there be a different agenda, or would it be a repeat of what we already experienced today and at the open house over the summer?
So the open houses that are coming up are just general open houses. You know, you get to see dining hall, you get to see, and you might have seen that over the summer as well.
Yeah, here's all the pretty landscaping here, the
residence life, all of that. Yes, it's probably the same thing. It sounds like you guys have done a visit and kind of done some of those things. You might want something as you move forward a little more personalized. And that sounds like maybe if you wanted to come to the panel that you had mentioned before, that might be a nice opportunity or next steps for you.
Well, I don't want to go. Michael does.
Michael wants to go. Whoever wants to come, please.
Michael is Canavo is here. He's just logged in as his mom, so
that's okay. That's all right.
That's the student.
Yes, he is more than welcome to join, as Bridget said before. But yes, the open houses that are coming up, if you've already attended one, it's the same thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anything else? Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, Michael and family.
Are we the only ones here that's not affiliated with the college or the university?
No, there is one other student on, and I don't know if it's just a student. I don't want to embarrass or say anything to the student if they want to introduce themselves or not. And then yes, and then Bridget and Mike and myself, or I'm sorry, Gigi and myself and Bridget obviously had to go to that important meeting this evening. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys for coming, and have a wonderful rest of your week. And if I could be of any help, as you know, I put my email in the chat. So thank you so much. Thanks, Gigi, for joining us, and Mike.
Thank you.
Take care.